Welcome, guys, to the Nerd Talk podcast, Nerdy Talk for Nerdy Fans. I'm your host, Remington Keyes, and today we discuss the latest nerdy topics that have been going around the web. Joining me today is Jim. How you doing, Jim?
Hey, how's it going? I'm okay,
Hanging in there?
Yeah,
So I guess we'll move right into our first topic. Villains we'd like to see in the new Spectacular Spider-Man movie franchise, which Marvel is currently running for Sony. Do you have any particular villains that you like of Spider-Man, Jim?
Well, I guess I can't imagine they're going to do any of the ones they've done before, because they've already said that they want it to be a fresh start. They want it to be different. So, I mean, that kind of leaves us with very few options because, you don't have Doc Ock, you don't have Green Goblin, you don't have, any of the big ones. So then you're with Kraven and Chameleon and stuff like that. So I'm actually very curious who they're going to pick because I don't want Green Goblin again. I don't think anyone does.
I don't know. I think it'd be pretty interesting with Willem Dafoe come back as Norman Osborn.
Oh, maybe. We'll see. It's gonna be interesting. I don't think anybody really knows yet, but I think they should maybe do somebody else because this would be our third Green Goblin, and people are already gonna be sick of, seeing the third reboot in how many years? So
Yeah. Well, I have a few villains in mind because I'm a big 90s Spider-Man the Animated Series fan. And a few villains that come to mind, now that they own Daredevil, you can do Kingpin, and you can have him run the Sinister Six,
Oh, you could have Vincent D'Onofrio just be him because they have the rights now. That would be a good way to wrap it all up, have the whole Marvel Universe thing.
Yeah, because they're still doing the Sinister Six movie, so he could kind of form,
Wait, is that for real, or did they just not get around to canceling that?
No, that's for real. They're going to keep it. They're going to say it for the third Spider-Man movie.
Oh, Jesus. I don't know.
But I think that's gonna that should be cool. If they get the right people behind it, you can sort of. That's what I'm saying. Kingpin can kind of be running the crime in New York City, and then Spider-Man getting in the way, so he makes these super villains to go after him. People who are powerful enough to beat him.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I thought the Sinister Six thing, at least in the last one, it didn't really work for me. So I'm not exactly sure how they're gonna have that in MCU. But I don't know. We'll see. If that even happens. But I like the Kingpin idea. I'm with you on that one.
And then I have one more villain that I'd really like to see live action is Scorpion.
Oh, actually, that's a good idea. I like that. Yeah. I like that idea. That's a good one.
Because he's always been Scorpion is the Spider's natural rival, and so he's a villain created by J. Jonah Jameson, if I'm correct, to go after to capture Spider-Man, make him look like a bad guy for his newspaper.
Yeah.
So I feel like that could work.
Well, then I know they didn't want to recast J. Jonah Jameson because they avoided it with Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
And but because they did not want to have anyone try to live up to J.K. Simmons, which is
he did such a good job.
Yeah, to me it's I can't think of anyone else ever being the part, but he said that they've been talking to him. So I don't know if he's going to come back. There's always these Tobey Maguire rumors, which I don't think are true, because Marvel's cheap, and Sony's cheap, and Tobey Maguire is expensive.
See, I hope they get Drake Bell, because he did such a great job being a parody of Peter Parker, and he really wanted to play Spider-Man, but he was up for the role for the original Amazing Spider-Man, but they said because you were in the parody that we don't want you. So
really?
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard that the big thing I've heard about the casting, at least, is that because of the Sony hack and the kind of racist emails, they want to get either a black or Latino Spider-Man because they want to kind of counteract that Sony would be okay with that kind of behavior. They want to have something really progressive happen. I don't know. I would be down with it. I don't really care.
Well, I feel like you could do a Miles Morales more down the line when, get the Peter Parker stuff first.
I don't know. We'll see what... I mean, I think the Maze Runner kid, is that Dylan O'Brien? I know he's kind of a favorite. And he's got good charisma. I actually think he could do it. But I don't know. That's such a crazy role. It's like, I don't know how they're going to counteract what had just happened,
Yeah.
So.
All right. Let's move on to the next subject. Fantastic Four reboot movie released a trailer quite a while ago. And what are your thoughts on it so far that you think about the movie?
Well, I like Josh Trank. As soon as I heard the guy from Chronicle was doing Fantastic Four, I was immediately into it.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. I think it's he can do a team movie.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I mean I feel like that is a home run already. I like that he wants to do it more like a Cronenberg-y kind of accident thing, which Fantastic Four is a little weird because they were the first Marvel thing.
Yep.
So they're not like Spider-Man and the rest. They're more like kind of the monster comics a little bit. Plus, the Thing is kind of like not really. I mean, he is a Marvel superhero. I'm not crazy, but he's not like that. He's not as like them as the rest of them.
Yeah.
So, but I think it'll be cool. I mean, the trailer has that. I hate when they do the kind of like brooding, dark thing just for the sake of it.
Yeah.
I am a little sick of that, but Josh Trank I think is really talented and it looks cool, and I like all the casting, especially Michael B. Jordan. And Miles Teller looks cool. I'm a little unsure about Kate Mara, but everybody else I think will be good.
I have a little problem. If you're gonna make the Human Torch black, you should have find a really good black actress to play Invisible Woman. They're supposed to be
actually,
like siblings.
I'm with you on that. I actually thought that when he was announced first, I was like, oh well, they're not Invisible girls aren't going to be white because like how are you going to say they're like he was adopted or how is that going to work? And I thought that would have been cool, but they didn't go that route. I don't really understand why they didn't.
I know, because you don't see a lot of African American superheroes, especially African American female heroes. It would have been cool to have that twist.
Yeah, I think it would have worked. But I don't know why they didn't do that. That's a little strange, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm totally on board with this. Michael B. Jordan looks amazing. He's a great actor. I'm totally on board with it. Miles Teller, I've met him. I did a movie with him, Bleed for This, which should be coming out this fall.
Oh, I saw those pictures on your Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, he's a really nice guy. When you meet him in person, he's got the charisma enough to be a superhero. Like, you can see him in a superhero role. I have no doubt in my mind that he would be great, as Mr. Fantastic. I'm a little worried about the CG aspect of the Thing, because I thought he was really... I'm one of those people who actually really liked the old Fantastic Four movies.
What?
Yeah, I know a lot of people don't like them.
I don't like those movies. I've never seen them sober, because I can't, but...
I think they're pretty funny. I think they're, something you can just sit back and, it's got that, like, comedy to it. I didn't really like how Dr. Doom was in the movie. Especially the sequel, he didn't feel like he fit of what they were trying to put there, But I really liked the cast and their little family aspect to them. There's definitely stuff wrong with the movie. I do admit there's a lot of stuff wrong with it, but I don't know. I kind of like it. So that's why I'm a little worried about I like the whole way they did Thing in the old Fantastic Four movies where he was like practical effects.
Oh, I like that casting. I thought that was a good choice, even then. And, Chris Evans' first superhero role.
Yeah.
Actually, I really didn't like him then.
Really?
I used to really not like him. I'd be like, that Ryan Reynolds clone, when's he going to get out of Hollywood? And now I love him. He's like one of my favorite superhero actors as Captain America. He's great. So,
Yeah, I love him as Captain America.
That shows what a good performance can do to you, because he was really not someone I was sure of, but now he's like one of the bedrocks of the Marvel universe, So.
Yeah. But other than that, I think it looks good. I really hope, if this does become a franchise, I really hope for a Skrull invasion storyline, which is what they were going to do for the third one. If Rise of the Silver Surfer did well, they were going to do
do they have? Sorry. Do they have the Skrull rights, or what's the?
Yeah, they have this. That's why Marvel wasn't able to use them in the Avengers, and they had to use the Chitauri, is because Fox owns the rights to Skrulls. So that I remember as a kid them announcing, that they were going to do a Skrull invasion third Fantastic Four movie before the second one came out, and I was so excited. And then I saw what they did with Galactus in the second one, and I was just like, I guess they could do this right if they, but they never did it because Fantastic Four 2 kind of bombed.
Yeah, no, it didn't do that well. I don't know. It was Fox. Fox has changed a lot since those movies. It's a lot better of a studio. I don't think they get the credit because they're not Marvel or DC.
Yep.
They're kind of a weird offshoot with Fantastic Four and X-Men. But I think they've been, the last X-Men movies have been good, the Apes movies. So I actually have some faith in that with the Fantastic Four movie, actually, because of how well Fox has been running the past, I guess 4 or 5 years. They've just been doing some interesting stuff. I don't know many other studios that have franchises that get so much critical acclaim as they do.
Well, other than
still,
Disney.
Dark and, Disney, yeah, but what they're doing is, the Apes thing, I never thought the Planet of the Apes franchise was going to have a comeback, I didn't even see Rise, because I was like, I've had it. I did that before. I'm not doing that again. And I regret it now. I regret it didn't see it in the theater. I saw it, obviously, but, I think they've grown a lot as a studio. So.
And I'm also one of the few people who likes the X-Men Origins Wolverine movie.
What's going on over there, really?
Yeah, I think the only problem I had with it was Deadpool. If they changed the villain at the end, I think it would have been a really good X-Men, I
liked him as Deadpool. I thought that was probably the best part.
Well, I mean the beginning part with him as Deadpool, but the end where it's Barakapool,
no, that was dumb. I really didn't like that. That was but
that was my only problem with the movie. It seems like that's what a lot of people's problem with the movie.
Well, I don't know. I'll go on a rant, and we'll be here for a long time, so I can't talk about that.
Another time.
I tried to shoot a review, and I watched the video. It was just a bunch of me yelling, and I was like, I'm not going to put this up. Because that's all this is.
Alright, now move on to the next topic. Best superhero TV shows that you recommend to binge watch.
Well, probably the last one I really fell in love with, Spectacular Spider-Man. The other one, Batman the Animated Series. Anytime I'm on a bus trip, because I have all of the episodes on my computer from the source, obviously. I watch a bunch of those. Same with the X-Men 90s show. The first season I stand by. The second season's but the Dark Phoenix stuff and the season 1 are great. I'm not a big live-action comic book, a live-action TV. Okay, I don't know how to say this right. Live-action TV live-action comic book show person.
Yeah.
I'm not I've seen the Gotham people shoot right near where I work and stuff, and they seem nice, but I've never watched that show. But I would say Spectacular Spider-Man is the one probably most people haven't heard of, and I'd really recommend that.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one. I refused to watch it when I was on television because of the art style. I really could not get into that art style. And then I bought the DVD complete series box set just to try it out, and I really think it's worth checking out.
I actually got that for Christmas, and it is it's really kind of artsy in a lot of the things. Like the scene, I forget which episode it is. You might, if you know it, then say it. But the one where they keep cutting to the kids like trying out for the play, or the one where they keep cutting to the there's a couple where they frame it where when they came back from commercials, like they'd have like the kids talking to a video camera or something like that.
Yeah. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, I remember that.
It's a little artsier than you really would think from that show. It's like kind of surprising. I that's one of my favorite things about that show is how kind of ballsy it was. It was like wow. That's kind of the saddest thing about the Disney buyout of Marvel is that's what killed that show.
Yeah, and they replaced it with Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, I've just heard it's bad, so I don't even bother watching.
Yeah, it's horrible. I like Drake Bell as Spider-Man in the show, but he even couldn't save it. You know, they go a lot with the Ultimate storylines, which I really could get into a rant about. That's part of the reason why I don't like the Amazing Spider-Man movies, is because that's all Ultimate storyline.
Oh, well, I mean, they're not all... Oh, the Amazing ones.
Yeah.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I was going to just defend Spider-Man 2, but no. Well, those had a lot of more problems.
A show I really like, superhero type show, would probably be X-Men Evolution, which is like a whole revamp of X-Men where they're in high school and you got like Professor X raising all the X-Men as high schoolers and stuff, which is pretty cool. I thought it was a pretty cool concept that worked. Doing a lot of the older X-Men storylines like Dark Phoenix and...
Wait, which show is this?
X-Men Evolution.
Oh, I never got to see that one.
Oh, I totally recommend. I just re-watched it from the beginning, and apparently it's a prequel to Wolverine and the X-Men TV show, which was on Nickelodeon, which was really good. That's another show that got canceled because of the buyout from Marvel, because Paramount had the rights, and so they did an X-Men show called Wolverine and the X-Men, which is a really, really dark take on X-Men.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool. I need to... See, I never got into all the other ones because for a little bit I was being too, I don't know, being a little bit of a snoot and being like, there's only one X-Men cartoon, man, it's the 90s one, but I kind of feel like I need to revisit some of those.
See, that's how I feel about the Batman animated series. I really can't get into other ones other than Batman the Brave and the Bold, because I'm like, you got Batman the animated series if you want a really good Batman the animated series. Don't try to remake it and reboot it.
Yeah, well, that's a problem with Batman and Superman is they're so well known is that you always have to make that stuff because they're like, well, it's there. Why don't, if we make this, we'll make this amount of money so we can sell more Batman toys. I mean, I feel like they've been selling Batman toys forever, and they just need new reasons to, but I never saw, I heard Brave and the Bold was alright. I didn't watch it, though.
I liked it because it had a lot of the classic, it had the classic feel to Batman, but also with the Batman the Animated Series type feel, And a lot of the Silver Age comic book characters, which I really love. My uncle got me really into that, so.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Another one I'd recommend, well, I have two more that I'd recommend, is Spider-Man the Animated Series from the 90s, which has a lot of my favorite Spider-Man storylines, especially the Clone Saga. They actually made the Clone Saga really good. And then another one would be Steven Universe. I can't recommend enough how much I love Steven Universe.
Yeah, but that's not a comic book.
No, well, it's sort of a superhero type show.
I think you're stretching it, but yeah, that is a good show, though.
Like, it's got heart, and it really develops, like, even the side characters really well. I don't know how far you've gotten into it, but I've watched the whole series, and it's so far, and it's really, really good.
I mean, I actually like it, but I haven't gotten all the way through. I need to watch all of it.
Wait till you get to the end. You're going to be like, wow, someone
That's
really
what everyone tells me.
Like, I don't know, it's one of those shows, like, I don't know what you're feeling on the sexuality equality in TV shows, like the whole Legend of Korra controversy with how they couldn't show the Korra and Asami being together.
Oh, I didn't know about that. I mean, I don't really mind. I don't see why that's always such a big deal. It's like,
well,
I feel like I don't know. Are people really upset about it or something? I mean, to me, it's
No, well, Nickelodeon wouldn't let them show it, so they had to kind of like put it under the, wraps there. They kind of hinted at it.
Mhm.
And so Steven Universe kind of puts it out there without putting it out there,
Mhm.
And so I really like that they were able to have the freedom to put it out there,
Yeah.
But,
I mean, they have, like, Adventure Time has, Bubblegum and, Marceline.
yeah.
I mean, I think if it's, like, if they don't have, as long as they're not doing anything graphic.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
but you wouldn't have that anyway.
Yeah.
It's like, why, I don't know why it's always a big deal. To me, it's like, I mean, it's 2015.
Yeah.
People said that every year for so long now. Like, it's blankety blank. Why are we still doing this? But I feel like it's going to be a while. People are still surprised by that. But, it's not really a big deal.
Well, I feel like it was good that they were able to have the freedom to do it,
No, that is good. I hope that stuff, continues. But when actually the first time I saw it on Adventure Time, I did think, I thought that was really cool. And I was, like, kind of proud to be watching the show. Because it was like, that's not something you see a lot of representation of, so.
Yeah. And as long as they're doing it right and not, like, doing it just to force it in, I feel like that's good.
Yeah.
Alright, let's move on to our final topic of the day. How would you handle sidekicks in the DC Cinematic Universe?
Well, the thing with the universe right now is that it hasn't officially, like, almost really even started. So, I don't even know, because I know the rumor, and maybe this is spoilers potentially, that in the Batcave in Batman v Superman, there's going to be a case with a Robin costume that's all messed up and torn. And so, because he's an older Batman and he's supposed to be kind of have been a myth.
Yeah.
Again, I'm going off of a lot of rumors, so if anyone hears this in a couple years and I'm wrong, but it's supposed to have been he had a Robin. I don't know if he's going to get another one, but I don't know if they should really do that kind of stuff until they really set it up, because we have to know who Batman and Superman, all those guys are first. But we'll see. I don't think you'd see it before 2022 or something.
Well, the rumor going around right now, I believe IGN put the rumor up. I could be wrong, but they could have taken it from another source too. But that in Suicide Squad, Joker is supposed to just be going to jail for killing one of Batman's sidekicks, which is probably Jason Todd.
Yeah,
for those
that's interesting. I actually like that idea.
And that's why he's in jail, and that they're getting him to join the Suicide Squad to track down Deathstroke, because Deathstroke's hunting down superheroes, and Batman is the next target.
Oh, I know. Oh, that's interesting.
So,
I kind of like that idea. I mean, there was that rumor that what's her name was going to be Robin, like the girl Robin.
Oh yeah, Carrie Kelly.
Yeah, is that even happening? I'm a little confused.
I don't know. They really haven't announced who's going to be playing Robin.
I mean, we're also a year out.
Yeah.
It's like, that's the one thing about the DC thing is, like, people are like, we have DC news, and I'm like, I haven't seen a movie yet. So, it's like, Man of Steel doesn't really count, almost, because it doesn't have, it's not like Batman v Superman is really the beginning, so, like, when that happens.
I can't even stand to watch Man of Steel. I really hate it.
Yeah, I didn't like it at all. Well, I've said this in other places, but watching it in New York was not fun. Because all those building people were, like, really upset watching that movie, so. But it wasn't, like, a great movie.
See, to me, I go, that's a great action flick for another superhero, but that, to me, is not Superman. Superman...
I don't know who that was for. That's the thing, is, like, I don't... They needed to... Yeah, it's like, that wasn't really a Superman movie, and, I got to see the original movie on the big screen, the first Christopher Reeves, And the thing is like, even that is like 3 different movies at once. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, it really, I mean, this is like a criticism that's been going on since the 70s, is that him training is one movie, and him doing this is another movie, and they kind of tried to connect it all in this one, and I feel like maybe that was a mistake. It's like having it be like almost different acts works better for Superman, you know? It's like you kind of, if you're going to do the origin story, just let him be Clark, and then that is the end of that story, and then we move on to story B and so forth.
Yeah.
And that's, you know, but people, you know, 20 years from now, people are still going to talk about Superman the movie. I don't know if they're going to really be talking about Man of Steel other than I didn't like that. So, you know, I think, because people still, like, when I saw people were, like, really into it and were re-seeing it again because they loved it. And I think, you know, that's the thing that, that's the thing I think about DC is, like, Marvel really cared about making sure you fell in love with Iron Man and look at what they created, and DC is, like, kind of trying to wow you, but isn't thinking about, like, if you see a good Superman movie, then people will be like, oh, I have to see the next one. But we're all seeing Batman v Superman almost because that's a crazy idea, but not so much because I have some connection to Affleck. I don't yet. Maybe I will. But that needs to be the most important thing, you know, and that's why, like, watch Iron Man, and it's, like, mainly about meeting Tony Stark. And that's why we all, like, everybody has a connection to that character, because we really met him, you know?
Batman vs. Superman's going to be meeting the Justice League.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I don't know. I'm very curious how that's going to work, but
I've seen more posters for Aquaman than I have Batman or Superman.
That's true. Well, that's true.
You have the picture of the Batmobile, and then the picture of him on set, and that's it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that whole thing is like, so I'm trying not to even think about it. What's funny is, like, Marvel has stuff coming out after that that I know more about than this movie. You know, it's like I'm just focused on Star Wars. I'm gonna ignore the rest. You know.
See, well, let's get back to the topic here on the sidekicks. I feel like they could, if they did, like, the Green Arrow or something. I was one of the people when they first announced Batman vs. Superman, I go, they have to leave sidekicks out of it, and then they need a Robin standalone film. I'm one of the biggest Dick Grayson fans. I feel like if you did him like the Batman the Animated Series, but like went more Robin Year One comic book route where he left Batman but still as Robin and joined the League of Assassins.
Well, yeah, but if Jason Todd's dead, is Jason Todd one in this universe and Dick Grayson is the second one, or is Dick Grayson already Nightwing?
They're probably going to make him already Nightwing, because they don't...
And have Tim Drake?
Yeah.
Tim Drake he was my Robin growing up, so I always liked Tim Drake, you know?
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind that, you know? That would be cool. And Tim Drake, that's the other thing is, like, it would be nice that since we've had so many of these movies kind of recycle the same crap, it's like, it'd be nice if we did Tim Drake, because Dick Grayson, we already did that in Batman Forever, which I can't say with a straight face, but, you know, we've done that already many times.
Batman Forever doesn't count. That never happened.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
I have very mixed feelings on Batman Forever.
It was a big movie when I was a kid, and I was into it when I saw it, and then I remember seeing it a year later and going like, oh.
See, I always had the original Batman movie on VHS, and that was the Batman I liked, and then Batman and Robin I always thought was the direct sequel.
Oh boy, you were all screwed up.
Yeah.
You should see, if you ever get a chance to see the first one, the first Tim Burton Batman on a film print,
yeah.
You should do it, because I did that, and it's so much darker and kind of grittier and more like a film noir.
Yeah.
It's honestly like watching a different movie. It was like one of the weirdest, because sometimes I'm in New York, and if they do a film print showing, I'll go. And I just went because I never saw it in theaters, even though my parents were like, it's too violent, so I didn't. But then I saw it, and it was really, and it was a pristine copy. But that's one of the few that if you watch it on TV, they've actually color corrected it now to look like the Marvel movies.
Wow.
And the VHS, because I had that old VHS, I rechecked it out, and that was different from the film print. So it's like,
crazy.
The funny thing is like the movie everyone went crazy for in '89.
Yeah.
Theoretically, no one's really seen, because they're seeing, color. I'm not going to go into a color correction argument, but the subtlety of stuff like that is important. And with that's one of the examples that was used, because I was just so blown away. I was like, I totally get why people. I've always loved that movie, but I almost really understood the phenomenon in 1989.
Yeah, it was always really dark and gritty like the animated series, which I liked. And then Batman and Robin felt to me like the Adam West Batman.
Yeah, they kind of, because what had happened is Return flopped, or it didn't flop. Return didn't flop. It just didn't do as well as the first one, and they want to change it, make it happier, more kids, because that's who's buying the merchandise.
Yeah.
And so it was really Warner Brothers. It was like, we want Tim Burton out, and we want it to be more like this, which I think was a huge mistake.
Yeah, Batman and Robin, I heard, was just to make toys. That's all it was for.
I mean, pretty much. I mean, the merchandise for those things usually equals a couple $1 billion. So, make stuff like that. I mean, they included way too many villains and wasted Bane, which upset me a lot. I didn't even know he was in it, and then I saw it in the theater, so I was like, what the fuck?
I liked Arnold Schwarzenegger in it.
I mean, he's pretty over the top performance. He got paid in there's a minute.
Wow.
He's only in 20 minutes.
Really?
That's why. Yeah. Because he got 20 million, and if you watch it, you're like, there's a lot of Poison Ivy stuff. What's up with that?
Yeah, and Bane.
That's Bane they've never done well. Because he's Mexican.
Yeah.
Like, when Dark Knight Rises came out, I goes, Tom Hardy's not Mexican. What's going on? He doesn't look very Mexican.
Yeah. Now, if you were head of Warner Brothers, this is the last question I'll ask you. If you're head of Warner Brothers, do you do Teen Titans movie or no? You skip over that whole DC part.
That's like, the Teen Titans is weird because, I never read the comic, but I'm a huge fan of the original cartoon.
Yeah.
I watch Teen Titans Go, which every time I say someone gets mad at me about, but I do watch it. I watch it mostly when I fold my laundry and do other things. But
Teen Titans Go is a weird thing because sometimes it pulls from the comics and other times it's just, we're going to parody the comics, you know?
Yeah, it's all over But the thing with Teen Titans is most of the people who love Teen Titans now haven't read the comic. They like the cartoon.
Yeah.
So making a movie of the Teen Titans would be, what are you going to do? I know they're doing the TV show, which I'm kind of not into. I would like to see it, but I wouldn't mind seeing, because I've kind of glanced at the comics, I don't know them that well, if they did more of a traditional route.
Well, something like Young Justice, something like the first season of Young Justice, but you have the main villain be Tara. You know, you do one of the most popular story arcs, the Judas Contract, which I don't know, you said you're familiar with the TV show, where Tara comes in, that whole thing.
Uh-huh. I mean, I don't know. Right now they don't have plans for it, and I don't think they're just not where Marvel is. You know,
Yeah.
I think Marvel is more they're ready for something like that, but DC, that's like a 2020s whatever kind of thing. If I was the head of Warner's, I'd be like, let's ease it down, guys. I'd also make a Batman movie, because they don't have one of those announced yet. I think that's ridiculous, because that's an easy win. You know? It's like, but supposedly they're kind of waiting for Affleck, because I bet it sounds like he's going to direct it if he does it, which will be crazy. I don't think we haven't had a writer, director, star superhero movie since Dick Tracy. So that'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see. I liked him in Daredevil, too. A lot of people don't like him in Daredevil.
I'm not a big fan of Daredevil. I was actually at a thing with Joe Quesada was speaking, and he tried to say that exact thing, and he got booed, and he was like, "No, come on, guys." He was all right. And, nobody would take
Well, Marvel tried to get
it.
him back to do the Daredevil Netflix series, and he turned it down for Batman.
Ben Affleck?
Yeah.
I didn't know I'm surprised they'd even ask him. That's interesting.
Yeah, they saw how well his other movies were doing, and they're like, hey, you want to come back as Daredevil? And he denied it for Batman, so.
Well, if I was him, I would too. I mean, who would? No offense, I like Daredevil, but if you have the choice, everyone's gonna pick Batman. Come on. I mean, I'm sorry, Daredevil, you're great, but 100% of the time, there's probably one Daredevil fan listening, and they're like, what the fuck? I would pick Daredevil, and he's the only one. But everybody else is like, no, Batman. Everybody wants to be Batman. Come on. Even Daredevil, if you put Matt Murdock, he'd be like, yeah, I'll be Batman. Nobody wants to be Daredevil. Come on. I like him. He's great. The Frank Miller stuff's great, but
What'd you think of Big Hero 6? Because I was kind of disappointed they didn't put that in the Marvel Universe.
Oh, well, the thing with that is, I actually read the two Big Hero 6 comics.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with the comic. It is just character names, and that's it. And, I don't think it would have really worked, because how are you going to have Baymax show up and he's animated? That would be weird. So,
like the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man in Ghostbusters.
I don't think... I'm not with you on the Big Hero 6 thing, but
I feel like it would have fit well with what they set up in the Big Hero 6 movie. I feel like it would have fit in the Marvel Universe.
I don't know. I mean, it took place in a different timeline with San Francisco.
Yeah.
So, you'd have to explain San Francisco. It would just be a whole mess. So,
True.
But yeah.
Alright, guys, that's all the time we have left. Thank you guys for watching the Nerd Talk podcast. Special thanks to Jim for coming on the show. Hey, Jim, tell my fans where they can find you at.
You can find me on YouTube at Jim Gizrael. That's where I make movie reviews. I also have a Twitter that's Jim Force. That's Jimm and then Force. I also have a Tumblr, and I actually have a comic blog, Comic Scans, which is ads of comic books and cool images within comic books, and that's just Tumblr. Just type in Comic Scans on Google, and you can find it.
And you can find me on the various social media sites under Remington Keyes or Critic Nation. Thank you guys for watching the show. I'm Remington Keyes, and until next time, bye-bye.